So my name's Jamie. I'm a senior designer here. I've been MB nearly 6 years. So I came from Kingston University, and then after sort of a few months, I've sort of had an internship here, and then for sort of 6 months, and then they kind of offered me a job, so I kind of took it. I've been here ever since.
I'm Sam, and I'm a junior designer here. Quite similar to Jamie, how I ended up here actually. Started as an intern 5 months ago now, back in October, and then interned for about a month, did some junior freelance stuff, and then turn of the year was offered a job. So.
I guess for me, daily, it's kind of, I think it's all about sort of questioning the brief a little bit, sort of pushing things, and sort of always asking kind of like, well, why does it have to be like that? Everyone else does it like this.
Yeah.
Why don't we do it like this, kind of thing? And kind of not being afraid to just sort of push things out a little bit, or kind of go off brief.
It's that thing about big thinking as well, isn't it? The ability to go like, actually, what if we could do this? What if we could do that? It's
always encouraged to kind of like, if you have crazy ideas, don't sort of like hide them or think, shouldn't be doing this at the moment. It's always just sort of like, well, why not? That sort of thing. Yeah.
It's like overcoming that embarrassment of, actually, it might sound ridiculous at first, but it might be something that's quite worthy. So. Everyone kind of groups together at the beginning. Everyone's working quite organically on it.
Yeah.
Idea stage. And then it tends to filter down into maybe a few designers go forward with
I think
something.
because we're such a small team, where we try and get the whole studio involved.
Yeah.
So like on the bigger branding projects, like everyone will get briefed on a Monday, and then by Friday everyone sort of come with some ideas. Not necessarily like into routes, but just like go off and think of anything. And then it will kind of get, we like that, we like that, we like that, and that's sort of a great way of doing it, I think. So everyone has a bit of a.
I think it's good as well because everyone brings something different as well.
Yeah,
so
everyone interprets the brief differently, don't they? Yeah.
People and ideas together.
So normally the concepts will get sort of presented to the client, but sometimes we like to sort of almost be good to sort of share sort of half stages of work with, or like territories, sort of with the client, because actually I think what the client values is actually being involved in the creative process a lot. That's what we've found with a lot of clients actually, and then they're more likely to sort of buy into certain routes. So we'd usually sort of present the concepts, they choose one, and and like ending up sort of developing it over numerous things. And I think the tough thing about that is for a designer is making sure that we've sort of tested it enough that it's going to sort of work. Because you can never really, with a branding project, you don't just design a logo, put it into some guidelines and just hand it over. I think what we find is actually applying it to some real things, whether it's a website or a brochure or whatever it is, then that'll actually sort of like tell us if it works or not. I think there's never a kind of, develop a logo, that's it, it's done. It's almost like this, it's constantly evolving up until, you do eventually sort of hand it over. I think it's always going to change a bit.
I think coherence across things, but then like coherence and structure, but then having like this ability to be courageous and flexible and tweak it, and not being as rigid and stuck to like the Ravensbourne.
Yeah.
And really it's got its mark, but then it's got the potential to do other things.
I think, today modern branding is kind of needs to be so flexible because there's so many different places you're going to see it. There's never a kind of, you create one mark and that's it, set in stone. I think it needs to be able to adapt and flex, and even just during the creative process, you can't, you might have to sort of throw it out and kind of adapt it and start again. But I think being open to that is good. I think not forgetting kind of who the audience is. I think a lot of people coming out of university, they're quite used to sort of designing things for themselves or for other designers, that look kind of cool and look great, but what's the idea, who's it for? So I think like getting that into your head sort of as soon as possible. So who is this actually for, in terms of like beautiful piece of graphic design, it needs to be that, but also I think it needs to appeal to whoever the audience is, most of all, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be using it and seeing it and that sort of thing.
I think like you mentioned, just vast amount of touch points now that it's got to exist on. There's so many platforms, and with digital, continuously developing such a rate as well.
Yeah.
The touch points that it's got existing is just far more.
Yeah. I can imagine the guys thinking the first time they actually had to design like, an app badge, or what's it going to be for us now, something.
Yeah.
I mean, we are looking at, what was it, Google Cardboard and like virtual reality stuff, and it's kind of like, where's it going to go? You've got no idea. So it's kind of...
It makes it fun though, because you're sort of exploring the new territories. Like we haven't done anything with the Google Cardboard stuff before, so it's fresh, it's new, and it kind of invites that learning of something.
I think one of the problems as well is maybe like the amount of stuff there is out there. We've had, actually as part of the Ravensbourne thing, we actually had an idea, we loved it, sort of tested it for a bit, and then actually found something very, very similar somewhere else, and it's kind of like, and some of the problems with that is you could be designing something and just not know that there's something very similar out there. So it's kind of trying to come up with like new things, but I don't think you're never going to come up with something that's completely brand new. It's just about adapting, using it in a new way potentially, or for someone new or something like that.